In the last chapter, we learned about common storage protocols. In this chapter, we will learn about storage network architecture. With the development of host disk network technology, at the same time as the evolution of storage system architecture, the storage network architecture is also constantly evolving to adapt to the needs of the business. After completing this chapter, you will be able to understand the evolution of storage network architecture and the evolution of storage networking technology. This chapter includes 4 sections. This lesson will cover the previous 2 sections, DAS and NAS. DAS, Direct Attached Storage. It refers to one or more storage devices directly connected to the server and provides cross-level data access services for the server. Based on the positional relationship between the storage device and the server, DAS can be further divided into internal DAS and external DAS. External hard drive array, there is a JBOD here. JBOD, it refers to logically connecting several physical disks in series. Its purpose is purely to increase the capacity of the disk, solve the problem of limited disk slots and insufficient capacity expansion of built-in storage. External direct attached storage, it refers to directly connecting the server and these external storage devices through SCSI or fiber channel. For internally connected storage, refers to through serial or parallel SCSI bus, directly connect the server and storage device. In the controller of the storage device, includes RAID function, large capacity cache. At the same time, configuration management is done through dedicated management software. It gives the disk array a variety of practical functions. In the mode of internal direct attached storage, the SCSI bus itself has a limit on the transmission distance and the number of devices that can be mounted. For externally direct connected storage, it can overcome a limitation of transmission distance and mounting devices through fiber channel. For a small number of servers, use direct attached storage. Its connection is simple, easy to configure and manage, and its cost will be relatively low. However, under this type of connection, because each computer has its own disk, storage disk, therefore, it is not conducive to the full utilization of storage capacity and data sharing between servers. Moreover, the storage system does not have a centralized management solution. It is also not conducive to data maintenance. Therefore, direct attached storage, it is not suitable to be used as an enterprise level. Storage solution. In the second section, let's continue to introduce NAS, Network Attached Storage. In the NAS storage structure, the storage system is no longer attached to a specific server or client through the I/O bus, but directly through the network interface, directly connected to the network. Users access via the network. The role of storage devices in NAS, it is similar to a dedicated file server. Instead of the traditional general-purpose servers, it has removed most of the server's functions, just providing a function of the file system used for storage services. NAS uses network protocols and file sharing protocols for archiving and storage. These protocols include TCP, IP for data transmission, and CIFS and NFS for providing remote file services. We have introduced these 2 protocols in a previous chapter. Users under different operating systems, it can seamlessly share the same data through NAS. Regarding NAS, it has the following advantages. For example, it can improve efficiency. Because the NAS system eliminates a performance bottleneck in the file access process of a general file server. Additionally, its flexibility has improved because it uses an industrial standard protocol, and it is also a client that can be compatible with both Unix and Windows platforms. So its flexibility is quite good. In addition, it can centrally store. Centralized data storage. It can reduce the data redundancy on the user's client workstation to a minimum. It simplifies the management of data, ensures stronger data protection capabilities. Additionally, there's also, for example, simplified management. It has strong scalability, has the characteristic of high availability, it has characteristics such as high security and so on. NAS devices have been optimized based on general servers, for example, storage, search, and when providing file access functionality for applications or clients. For instance, in this place, a general purpose server can run any application because it uses a universal operating system different from the general server NAS device. It is dedicated to file services. It uses a real-time operating system and it uses an open standard protocol dedicated to providing file services. So, some NAS manufacturers, its product supports features such as high availability local clusters. In NAS, the common protocol is not only NFS. Apart from CIFS, also FTP, HTTP, NDMP, NFS. It is the protocol used for file sharing in traditional Linux and Unix environments. CIFS, it is a file sharing protocol used in the traditional Microsoft environment, a protocol based on server message blocks. CIFS, it is a network-based shared protocol, so it has a high requirement for the reliability of network transmission. So it usually uses TCP/IP and NFS. It is used for independent transmission, so it uses TCP or UDP. One drawback of NFS is that its client must be equipped with dedicated software. Then CIFS, it is integrated into the operating system. Therefore, it does not need to deploy additional software for application. This is a rather good advantage of CIFS. Additionally, NFS is a stateless protocol and CIFS is a stateful protocol. After a failure occurs in the NFS connection, it can automatically restore the connection, but CIFS cannot. Additionally, FTP is the file transfer protocol. It is one of the protocols in the TCP/IP protocol group. The FTP protocol consists of two components. The first one is for use with the FTP server. The second one is for FTP client applications. Among FTP server is used to store files. Users can use an FTP client to access resources on an FTP server via the FTP protocol. This protocol HTTP. In fact, we are not unfamiliar with the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. In some web applications, HTTP or HTTPS is usually used for information transmission. NDMP, Network Data Management Protocol. It is a network device for network-connected storage. Network backup provides an open standard. NDMP can bypass the backup server and write directly to tape storage. Therefore, it can enhance the speed and efficiency of NAS data protection. One of the working principles of NFS, through previous learning, we know that NFS is used for data transmission between the server and the client over the network. So to transfer data between the two, there must be corresponding network ports. Because NFS supports a variety of functions, different functions will use different applications to start. Each time a function is initiated, some ports are randomly enabled for data transmission. Therefore, the port corresponding to the NFS function, however, the ports corresponding to each application function of NFS are not fixed. However, the client needs to know the corresponding port of the NFS server in order to connect. Only after this can data transmission and interaction be carried out. How does the client know about these temporarily generated ports? It is through the RPC Remote Procedure Assistance Protocol here. One of the functions of RPC is to manage NFS port services uniformly, and the Unified External Port is 111. RPC also uses this client server model. So one of the working principles of NFS is, before the server starts the NFS service, first you need to start the RPC service and open port 111. After the NFS service is started, it will register these ports with RPC. Then RPC will record these ports and wait for the client RPC's request. If at this time the client has a business request, then it must also first start the corresponding RPC service. Then you can send the corresponding request to the server. After the server receives the request, RPC will inform the client of the previously recorded NFS port information. In this way, the client will obtain the port information of the NFS server. Data will be transmitted through the actual port. A typical application case of NFS is shared storage in cloud computing. Cloud computing uses NFS servers as internal shared storage. Cloud virtualization software, such as VMware, it has specifically optimized for NFS clients, used to establish the virtual machine storage space on the shared space of the NFS server. Working principle of CIFS. CIFS uses the CS interaction mode. Its interactive process is similar to a form like a three-way handshake. There will be three interactions in this place. One is protocol selection, identity verification, resource acquisition. In protocol selection, both parties choose an appropriate protocol to carry out an interaction. Protocol handshake, identity verification. After logging into the server according to the selected protocol, the server will perform an identity verification on the client to achieve secure authentication. Acquisition of a resource. After the authentication is passed, the server and the client can then interact with each other. Perform operations such as reading and writing a file. You can implement an operation of a shared connection file. After the operation, the corresponding connection needs to be disconnected. A typical application case of CIFS, it is the file sharing server scenario. Here, DNS is used to implement a mapping between domain names and IP. AD server, sometimes we refer to it as the AD domain, it provides directory services. NAS server based on CIFS, it is mainly used in enterprise file servers, media assets and so on, a service that can provide file sharing for these users. That's all the content for our lesson today. In this section, we mainly learned about the concepts of DAS, direct attached storage, and NAS, network attached storage, commonly used protocols, and how they work. That's all for this lesson. Thank you for studying. See you in the next class.